Paul Cruz speaking. Yes, I can solve your sales problem. You know where my office is at the Spaces, right? I'll see you there soon. I'm gonna have my coffee now. Bye.
Welcome to the Paul Cruz Sales Agency. I hope everyone's having a fantastic week. I have a very powerful topic that a lot of salespeople that I speak with, and even business owners, run into a common denominator problem. So I'm here to solve that problem. That's what I do. I solve sales problem. Now, what am I talking about? Before we dig into this powerful topic, if you're watching this on my YouTube channel and you like this video, do me a favor. Smash that like button. If you want to follow me on my channel, just hit the subscription button below. Now, this is something that's common. And there's a lot of theoretical people that don't really understand this problem. So hopefully I can give you a different mindset to solving this problem. What problem is that? Before I tell you the problem, I'm going to ask you this question. What does not interested really mean when a prospect tells you they're not interested? Okay? So what I'm going to share with you is there are 3 steps to every sales process. No matter what the product is, no matter what the service is, there's only 3 steps. And if you understand these steps, you're going to understand what not interested really means. Now, for me, especially in the opening of a phone call. So, for example, there's an opening, the body, and the close of every sales call, right? There's a saying is, first impressions are important, right? So, on the opening of a call or a text message or an email message, however you communicate, how can somebody or a prospect tell you they're not interested on something they haven't even heard from you, right? I'm sure some of you, if not a lot of you, have encountered that, right? Myself included. But what does it really mean when someone or a prospect tells you they're not interested? Most people respond, I understand you're not interested. I think that's the biggest mistake any salesperson can make. You don't ever respond with a negative. You always respond with a positive. How do you do that? Well, not interested to me without them saying it, but I have to understand it. They're telling me, why should I do business with you, Paul Cruz, over the other people that call me prior to me? Especially in the beginning of the call. So you have to understand also when you get into the body or what I call the art of storytelling, if they're telling you they're not interested in the middle of the presentation, that just means that you didn't sell yourself and you didn't show any value to them. That's why they're not interested at that point. And when you get to the close of the sale, if they're still not interested, then what that means is 2 things. They didn't buy you and they wasted your time. So just think about that. So you have to arm yourself before you make a call to action and diffuse not interested. And I'm going to give you an analogy, an example. Car salesman, right? When you're going to buy a car and you go to the lot, what is the first thing they do? They come up to you, and what does the buyer or the potential buyer say? Oh, we're just looking, right? So a real successful car salesman is going to be prepared to overcome that because they know already what they're going to say. So if you know what your prospect is going to say in the beginning, shouldn't you be prepared for that, right? You should, right? So think about that. Now, the other thing you must do is you must know what the prospect's objections will be in the beginning of the call with powerful rebuttals. See, I will say this. I've been in sales over 30 years at every level, and I never get that, not interested. I'm not going to say never. Well, I would say 99% of the time when I speak to someone or I cold call as I do every day, I never get that not interested. By the end of this topic, I'm going to share with you what you need to say to overcome that not interested. Does that make sense? So I'm going to erase this aboard a little bit here. And I'm going to share with you 2 powerful rebuttals that I've been using for over 30 years. See, I'm a basic fundamental guy. I stick with the basics. I don't try to be too creative. I keep it simple, authentic, original, sincere, because at the end, that's what people buy. Just think about yourself. You are a customer just like your prospect is, right? And you don't mind paying for value and quality. You just don't want to be lied to, and you want to be understood, right? So you have to understand when they say they're not interested, what they really mean. And when you understand that, one of the things you don't ever want to say is, why are you not interested? You never want to say that. I think that's a weak man's mentality or weak salesman mentality because they don't really understand what not interested means. So I'm going to take out my cheat sheet chart here. I'm going to share some things with you, okay? All right, now rebuttal. Why are rebuttals important? Here's number 1. I'm going to use a different color here. Okay. Here's rebuttal number 1. I will be brief and to the point. Okay? It sounds corny, it sounds cliche, but not a lot of people use that. I've been using this rebuttal for 30 years, cold calling. So if I know when I call them that they already got a lot of previous phone calls from other people, I should understand, and you should understand, where their mindset is. So not interested should not be coming up. But if it does, here's what I say. Listen, I will be brief and to the point. I know that you're busy. Why? Because you have to understand that they are busy, but they still took your phone call. And what they don't want is somebody to be antagonistic, meaning, why are you not interested? That's antagonistic. So what you have to do when they say they're not interested, understand what they're really telling you and not even address the objection, but just do the rebuttal. So if somebody tells me, I'm not interested, I'll be briefer to the point. I know that you're busy. That diffuses it. Now, here's what I will say. If they say they're not interested 3 consecutive times after you give rebuttal, then they're serious about it. Because usually when a prospect has an objection, is they're trying to get you off the phone or end the conversation. Right? That's what they're trying to do. It's not even the real objection. So if you come with a powerful rebuttal like this, it's a simple one, but it's powerful, guess what happens? They're no longer saying they're not interested. They're engaged to what you're about to say. Does that make sense? And there's 2 major objections that usually happens. I'm busy or I'm not interested, right? So what's the second one? Here's the second one. Second rebuttal. Here's where the rubber meets the road. Do you get a lot of these calls? This is so powerful. You can either say, do you get a lot of these calls? Or you can make a statement question. I understand you get a lot of these calls, right? Or do you get a lot of these calls? Either way it works. Because now you're understanding their position that they get these calls and they get frustrated, right? So they're going to tell you they're busy or they're not interested. But if you say, do you get a lot of these calls? Chances are they're going to say yes. Now you know the real objection, which is they're frustrated about getting the phone call that they didn't want to take, but they took it, right? What happens when you do that? You put the prospect at ease. Why? Because you understood them. You understand their position because you are in their position as well. Does that make sense? So understand this. Not interested doesn't mean they're not interested, especially they don't even know what you're offering them. Does that make sense? So it's your responsibility as a salesperson, as an entrepreneur, even as a small business owner, that you understand your audience, that you understand prospects, because at the end of the day, if you don't know the weapons you have, you're never going to be successful in generating more sales. That's why people hire me, because I do understand it and I'm really good at it. Okay? Now, I'm going to share with you 5 steps or 5 mindsets that you need to develop or improve on so that you can be successful in closing more prospects into customers and more leads into sales, and not allow not interested to be a barrier for you not being able to show your value. Does that make sense? All right, let's go. Now, I'm going to erase this, guys. And it's important that you understand that, I teach my students and my clients and my salespeople that selling is a mindset and closing a deal is an attitude. And that cold calling is a powerful tool. Selling is the most valuable vehicle you have. Learn how to sell properly so that you can overcome the not interested. And then here's the destination. The destination is the sales, right? Isn't that what we all want to do? Generate sales, right? Okay, now, so I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to put this one in green. Hopefully my green marker works. All right, it works. Okay, number 1, here's the mindset. Understand and anticipate response and objections, etc. Why is this important? See, one of the things I learned being on the phone every day is I put myself in the prospect's mindset, meaning they're a business owner, I'm a business owner. They're a customer, I'm a customer, and I'm trying to help them get business owners that are customers. So I call that the triangle. But if I don't understand and anticipate their response, no matter what the industry is, or what their objections are going to be, or their concerns are going to be, then I don't deserve to make a sale, and neither do you. So you have to understand and anticipate a response and objection. There's a difference between an objection and a buying signal. That's something that you have to be able to listen to and understand so that you can generate more sales. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, number 2 is this. You got to have powerful rebuttals and diffuse it. What I mean diffuse it means the objection. Okay? Now, the weapons you have is important. You got to understand, you can't have a powerful rebuttal if you don't even understand what not interested really means, right? So you gotta have a very powerful rebuttal that diffuses that objection in their mind. Because if you do that, you're going to earn respect, trust, and believe it or not, when you handle objection the right way, you increase your value. Because as a business owner, I like strong people. I like people that can handle me. Why? Because I understand the other side as well. And business owners and prospects want to deal with successful people as well. Does that make sense? So you got to have powerful rebuttals and diffuse every objection, because if not, you're not giving yourself a chance to earn the business. It's just a fact. I'll give you an example. I had a guy today, gave me everything he had. I threw the kitchen sink at him. I got him to the point where he had to hang up on me. If not, he was going to buy. And that's okay. I gave it everything that I had. But I didn't let him get away with the little nonsense or non-important objections that were irrelevant to the sales process. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. If you're not excited about what you do, all this doesn't matter. So you got to be excited. You got to love what you do. Because guess what? Excitement sells. You know, try and sell something in your bar and nobody's going to buy it, right? All right, so number 3. Here's the difference between a top salesman, a world-class salesman, and a mediocre salesman. Bear with me. Okay. One of the things I preach and I talk with my clients, my students, my salespeople, always, always, always give your value up front. That'll never come up. You have to show value, give value, offer value. You become priceless. How do you do that? How you say it determines your value. How you say what you say, how you say the rebuttal, how you say the introduction, everything determines your value. Everything determines whether they even dare say, I'm not interested. That's a difference. We can have the same script, the same product, the same prospects, and whoever tells the most powerful story and how they say it is going to get the sale. That's just the way it is. Does that make sense? And this is a mindset. It's an attitude. Okay? Now, number 4. Number 4. By the way, guys, you know what? Some of you who know me, I'm growing my beard. Never grew a beard before, but I tell you, it's been a pain, but I'm learning to like it a little bit. All right, number 4. All right. Always ask questions. Here's the key, though, in a story format. You probably never even heard of this. Some of you who are successful salespeople, you know there's a thing called discovery. That's when you start to ask pre-qualifying questions. Also, how you ask questions is going to determine not only your value, but that this never comes up. Because you see, what you have to understand, selling is basically storytelling. Right? But you can't tell a story if you can't get through the not interested, right? And let me give you an example. I used to be a movie producer, and people watch movies. Now, what gets people to go to the movie theater is either a little trailer clip or a little 30-second clip, and you can't wait, and you get excited for that movie the movie to come out either in theaters or on video, whatever the case may be, right? Well, your introduction on the phone call, handling that with the rebuttal, is your introduction. And as you overcome the objections, now you're telling the story or you're showing them the movie. But always ask questions in a story format. Do you get a lot of these calls? I understand and respect that. I'll be brief and to the point. I know that you're busy. If I could show you a way, just to give you some examples. But you got to tell everything in a story format, because at the end of the day, if they're on the phone with you, they want to hear a story. It's just a fact. So, not interested. What does it really mean to you? Then the last one, number 5. Let me see. Let me erase this here. Number 5. Number 5. Here's the key. You can have all the weapons in the world. If you don't know how to use the weapons, it means nothing. Okay. Now, I'm going to share an analogy. Always use rebuttals to transition into a story. What do I mean by that? As a former martial artist, one of the things that I've learned is if you don't have basic fundamentals and you don't know how to throw a kick or a punch and you don't know your opponent and you don't even know what you're supposed to know, the only transition that's going to happen is you're going to get your ass kicked, like I did before I decided to get smart about it. So if you understand what the objections are going to be and you know how to use your rebuttals powerful, it's going to transition you not only to the powerful story, but into closing the sale. And here's the last thing I'm going to share with you, or one of the most important things. This is all about mindset. It's all about attitude. Because you can have all the weapons in the world. You can have all the rebuttals in the world. I don't use a lot of rebuttals because I don't need to. But I know enough of them that I can use it at any time I need to use them. But if I don't understand the power of the rebuttals, if I don't understand what the prospect is thinking, what they're feeling, what they're going to say, again, I don't deserve to make a sale. I just don't. And neither should you. Does that make sense? So these are the 5 things you need to understand. I hope this has been helpful. Again, if you like this video, smash the like button. If you want to follow me, just hit the description button below. And if you believe this video can help others, do me a favor, just share the video with others. But understand this, what does not interested really means? Now you have a better understanding, or I hope you have a better understanding, and don't allow a prospect to insult you by saying they're not interested when they don't even know what you're offering. All right? So listen, guys, I appreciate your time. Again, I hope this has been helpful. Till we speak again, I say goodbye for now. And remember this, what does not interested really mean to you? Talk to you later.